There comes a time where you set out to do things and then you realize that it's not that fun. The glamour is not there anymore. The excitement is gone. The high when you actually made the decision to do the thing is not there anymore. And that was exactly how I felt when I signed up for my half marathon on the day of the half marathon. The last 5K, it was very, very brutal, very, very tough to push through. But what really got me through it was the times where during the training block, during eating when I didn't want to eat, during replenishing my body when I didn't want to, I was able to get it done. And just going back to that time and where I was in that time allowed me actually push through the last 5K because it wasn't motivation, it wasn't excitement. I was cramping, body was almost giving up on me, but getting to that finish line was something I was going to do. On this episode of The Report, I'm just going to talk about why we should always do hard things and why doing hard things enable us to do other things in our lives that we do want to do. So I signed up for a half marathon at the beginning of the year. Like everyone is like excited. What can I do? What haven't I done? And it was also a period in my life whereby I felt like gym training, so regular strength training, was very, very boring. It wasn't something that I look forward to. And I just really wanted to push myself. I wanted to see how far I could go. And I've also been watching a lot of endurance sports. So just seeing people like push through like ultra marathons, running actual marathons, and how they were able to push through. And I never even saw myself as someone that would be able to do that. I would say someone that's fit. I do a lot of sports, I do a lot of gym work, but running wasn't something that I did regularly to say, okay, I'm a runner, I run. And it got to a point where I was like, let me actually test myself. Let me see if this running that everyone is doing is something that I would also be able to like do. And I was really inspired by a lot of people everywhere. People were running like 4 marathons, like I said. A couple of boys that I watched from the UK, they did like 4 marathons, and it was just very, very inspiring. So yeah, I signed up for a half marathon in January, and I was meant to do it I believe I did it in May. Looking back, yeah, I did it in May. And I was going to have to train, commit to a training block, follow the plan that was set in that training block, and actually do it, because you can't just show up on the day and run a half marathon if you don't prep, if you don't adequately fuel and take the things that I need to do. It's going to show up on that day, and like I don't want to show up on that day and be one of those people that you could tell that this guy didn't actually prep. So me and my girl, we actually then decided to run a half marathon, and then we stuck to a training plan. And on this episode, I'm just really going to talk about a lot of things that shifted for me when I was training for the half marathon, when I completed the half marathon, and how I see myself since completing the half marathon. So take you back to January when we actually started training for the half marathon. It was actually my girl's birthday around this time. I remember vividly. I was actually starting the training block on the week of her birthday. So I went to celebrate her birthday on Saturday, and I had a 6K run. And if you know anything about January in Toronto, winter is already here. You don't want to run outside. And I was like, okay, let me go run my 6K on the treadmill where I live. And I had that 6K, and I came home and I was like very, very exhausted. I was like, my mind didn't even want to like do this 6K. And if you think about it, a half marathon is 21K, so you're probably going to do 6K at least 3 times, and getting through on 6K at that point in time felt like something that I couldn't even fathom doing. I was like, damn, how am I going to actually get through this half marathon block? And I was like very, very like hard on myself. I was like, this is crazy. My knees were hurting me, and I hadn't even gotten into the long runs where it's like you have those long runs where like you're building your aerobic base and things like that. But as time went on, as I showed up, even when I didn't want to show up, my legs were really giving out there, like, okay, you can't really do this. My knees were really, really hurting. But as I continued to push through, January came, February came, March, April, pushed through, and I saw that I was progressing. I saw I was comfortable doing those long runs. And one thing like running has really, really taught me is that running is really a mental game. I don't really see running as a physical game, because if you even feel like you start a run well and you get so excited and you don't focus on actually finishing, your body can still play tricks on you and you can actually still give up just based on how excited you feel. So you have to control and navigate a lot of emotions during running. And the same thing with life as well, like a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things where you really feel like, okay, life is going good, and next thing you know, throws you a curveball. You have to be able to navigate those emotions because your mind is going to play tricks on you. And as I continued the half marathon training block, my identity changed. I felt like I was someone that could do hard things and continue pushing through those hard things, showing up when I didn't want to show up, dogging out tough winters in Toronto because you still had to stick to the plan, doing the long runs on Saturday when you know that your legs will be aching you until Monday, and also fueling, like going into research, trying things that you know would help you on race day. So all that was really just changing my identity, changing how I saw myself, changing how my mental framework really worked in terms of like thugging out that run, making sure that even though on days when I didn't feel like doing those things, I showed up. And that identity translates to a lot of things. Like looking back now, it is July as I'm recording this. I've seen the way I attack different things where it's like it might not be the most feasible thing to do, it might not be the easiest thing to do, but going through that blog, going through those 3 months where it wasn't easy, it's something that's made my identity change. And your identity changing helps you in numerous ways because it's something that sticks with you forever, especially in a world whereby we are really, really close to a lot of things. There's proximity to what different people are doing, what we're seeing, and having your identity being rooted in something you've done is very, very important because like I said, you're going to navigate a lot of emotions. You're going to navigate a lot of things that are surprising, a lot of things that you wouldn't want to navigate. And even going back to being a Christian, like having your identity rooted in Christ is something that keeps us grounded, but also living here psychologically, having your identity rooted on something that you've done, something that you've proven to yourself when nobody was actually clapping for you, is something that cannot be taken away from you. And that is what running a half marathon did for me, or training for a half marathon, I would say, because the running was really an icing on the cake. I feel where I really appreciated the work was during the training. Like the running was like everyone was there, everybody's excited, but those Tuesday mornings, those Wednesday mornings when no one is clapping for you, where everywhere is quiet, those where you build your character and you build your identity. And that's one of the things that running the half marathon did for me. The second thing I'll say is delayed gratification. And I think this is one of the most important things to have as a human being, is being able to delay the gratification of things that you feel you deserve right now. And that's just simply being able to stay the course and go through life and not have the things that you want immediately. And I thought about this where it's like, if I had actually just gone and ran the half marathon without adequately training and fueling and learning about my body and going through those mental roadblocks, would I actually have appreciated the work, or would I have appreciated the medal, or appreciated like getting to the finish line? And I sat with this for a while, and I was like, I really don't think so, because it's like you look back and everything you've done throughout the half marathon block and realize that everything there was actually building delayed gratification in you. All those days where you felt it's like, okay, why can't I just do this half marathon now and get it over with? Why can't I just step into May and just run this thing? Those build delayed gratification, because during those times you actually had to show up when it wasn't fun to show up. You actually had to show up when you're tired. You actually had to show up when you had other things that were happening in your lives that you were trying to navigate, that you're trying to sort out as well. And as I think about this now, delayed gratification like translates to everything. Like it translates to almost everything in life. Like you have that goal that you're trying to reach. You have that business that you're trying to build. You have even exams that you're trying to write. People that do professional exams, people that have things going on with their lives. You actually have to show up, follow the rules, follow the things that will get you to that point. And there's also a high chance that you might not even be able to accomplish those things, but putting in the work and grinding it out gives you something to fall back on, especially when things don't fall in line like we want it to do, like we want it to be. Because you can't always guarantee that putting in the work is going to give you the result. Delayed gratification comes with doing things without having immediate success, without having immediate gratification from people around us, with our friends, the Instagram stories, and things of that nature. And lastly was, and this is very cliche, it's just confidence. There's that level of confidence. There's an extra pep on your step where like you've done something hard, where you've gotten through tough things, and that confidence comes from evidence. So that evidence is doing the things where it is not easy. Like running a half marathon, I look back at it, it's like I talked to my guy like, what the hell were we thinking running a half marathon? We hadn't run a 5K race, we hadn't run a 10K race. We're runners, like we would take our work seriously at the gym, but we weren't actual runners where like you're training. And even till now, I don't see myself as a runner where it's like, okay, I'm that guy. I just see myself as someone that can show up and do something when it's not comfortable. And just that story I tell myself translates to a whole lot of different things in my life right now. It's like a lot of things. Obviously you can't share everything that you go through personally, privately, and you look back and say, okay, I did this, which was like at that moment in time felt impossible. I got through this race, do this training that felt very impossible. Like I genuinely remember the first day I decided to run a 15K. So I had a 15K on my training block for a long run. I do my long run on Saturdays, and just going into the gym, I was like, am I really going to do a 15K? Like, am I really going to be the person to run that 15K? And throughout the race, like 12K, I actually stopped because it's like I couldn't do this anymore. But like something in me just said, go on, push through. And when I actually finished that 15K, and I think that was the moment in time that it clicked for me that, okay, 15K, you only have 5K left. You should be able to do 6K because half marathon is 21K. You only have 6K left. You should be able to do the half marathon when the day actually comes. And those little forms of evidence, those little things that you build up allows you perform on that day. You don't necessarily have to do the big thing on that day, but running 15K, you tells your mind that, okay, I only have 6K left. On that day, I would definitely be able to do an extra 6K to get to the finish line. That's the evidence I'm talking about, and that confidence translates to a whole lot of things. Like I've said, it also allows you have a lot of emotional regulation. I think running is a lot of emotional regulation and a lot of positive self-talk. I read a lot of people online that post things about psychology, and there's this guy that says like running is really navigating the voice in your head and allowing it calm, not pushing it away, and knowing when to use it as fuel and also knowing when not to listen to it. That's just something running has taught me, and like that confidence to know that, okay, you're going to talk it out, you're going to get through it, is something that I feel I've proven to myself. And as I go on, I think it's something that I'll carry on with me. Obviously, you try more things. Maybe you run a full marathon, I don't know. Running a full marathon, I don't know about that, but those are things that I'll carry on and I'll push through as I go on with life and continue my journey. And just as about to end this episode, and I just want to say that doing hard things doesn't necessarily have to be a physical thing. I know we're in a world where we all praise the physical. Everybody wants to be tough. Everyone wants to do it. But doing hard things is also things that have to do with your emotions. I remember times where like I found it hard to like have hard conversations with people. I found it hard to tell people that, oh, look, I feel like I've been wronged here. I feel like you've done something bad to me. But looking back at those things, those were actually hard things that I did that helped me become someone that can understand people's emotions, have empathy for people. So it's like, even if you feel like, okay, you can't physically do something hard, there's definitely something in your life that you could be doing that is not necessarily physically hard, but emotionally might be hard for you, because maybe you're someone that finds it hard to forgive people. Maybe you're someone that finds it hard to forget. Maybe you're someone that finds it hard to have maybe quote unquote confrontational conversations with people. That's also something hard that you can do as well. Hard for you can be running 5K, hard for you can be running 10K, but I just want to encourage you to push through and do something that genuinely scares you, that you feel like, okay, push comes to shove, I actually have to put in the work to get this thing done. It's not just going to be something that's going to be given to me because I just want to do it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode and take something out of it. Thank you.
He likes doing hard things. Keep going, keep going.
I'll see you now.
Yeah.